Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Show here, and there was no can crack at the beginning of the video. That is because someone guessed the soda right. Now, I don't want to say the soda in case I can get copyrighted for it, but if you guys do want to know what it was, someone in the last video got it, and they made a Homer Simpson joke, so yeah. Now, their what if that they wanted me to do was what if Deku was a pilot from Titanfall, which I will put in the drawing. Now then, where we last left off, jeez, I just woke up. Where we last left off, Deku is flying to the beach. He arrives and he actually sits down, opening his backpack, actually looking at the computer more. He essentially has a laptop that he plugs the USB in and actually tries to figure all this information out. Over his time in hell, he probably collected 5 or 6 different types of USBs, all containing different information and video files. They all essentially have different passwords, different people, connecting them to each other, and different types of information. Deku has actually been able to slowly open up all these pieces of information, but that's just where it gets harder. Because anytime he thinks he makes any progress, he feels like he just stumped. He still can't figure out what this initiative was. It's essentially just hidden behind 5 different layers of firewall. Even then, there's someone else who doesn't know what it is. These guys really don't share information with each other. No. He's doing that for about an hour, and Ibara would finally arrive. Seeing Deku basically sitting on the stairs, actually just getting frustrated. Now, as soon as that happens, oh, my jaw just popped. As soon as that happens, this is where she would see and ask Deku exactly what each of these are. He would just explain that he essentially has not even been able to completely crack one, let alone he has more than 7, if not 8 total USBs. He remembers where 2 of them are back in hell, but he never really got a chance to get them, because he either had to hide or he never really thought about grabbing them. Now, basically he's saying that, yeah, there's some more information, but I couldn't really grab it because of story reasons so far. Now then, after this, Deku, he would actually tell Ibara that he essentially just needs to crack this and find out the information, because no matter what he tries, nothing works. He tried password 01. He thinks he's tried this guy's. He's just been guessing at this point. And this is whenever Ibara would actually click on the video and she would watch it. The guy would mention one name. She would ask Deku what this name is. And I don't know exactly what name to put here, but let's say that Deku spelled it wrong. And Ibara actually would put it into the computer right. Now, as soon as this happens, she would immediately click enter and actually crack the password, which surprises Deku. She's saying that essentially he was going off of a, well, not very Christian way of spelling it, but she was going off a certain way of spelling it. I'm not saying how, because I do not know. Now, as soon as that happens, there is another video file. The doctor is talking about how essentially Earth may have fallen, he can't get a response anymore, and how these things essentially destroyed the entire lab on the other side, but they're still coming out. It makes no sense. But he would tell them that there is a lot of different information, and he is actually trying to survive. He is going to. Okay. He is going to be doing that, and he does not intend to die. As Deku would see blueprints pop up on the screen for an armed cannon, if not another gauntlet. Now, this actually somewhat intrigues Deku because this gauntlet looks different from the ones he used to wear. It actually covers the entire arm, if not the entire forearm. It just sections off into different pieces. Now, after this, Deku would actually just go to UA along with Ibara and Bakugo. They would be going, and this is whenever Deku would walk in on the first day with Ibara and Bakugo. Everyone is looking at these three, as they essentially are the top performing three that went to the entrance exam. And this is whenever Ito would actually run to Deku, saying that he's sorry, but he needs to apologize, and Deku would just look at him, shrug it off, and just walk away. As Ito's left standing there, he's just standing there with his hands up and pointing at no one. As he just turns around saying that he needs to respond whenever someone talks to him, he's being very rude. Deku would just tell him to shut up because he is screaming in the middle of class. Now, after this, people are actually asking Deku about his quirk because from what some people saw, he essentially held back the zero pointer, which would actually catch everyone's attention, including Bakugo. People don't even know how strong Deku is, and they're actually asking him to demonstrate one of his quirks. Deku would clarify that, saying it's one quirk, not two. It's just, I don't really like to explain it. The best way I can explain it is, and Aizawa would immediately cut them off, saying that they're annoying him, they're bothering him, and they need to do a fitness test, if not an exam. So, whoever goes last will get expelled. Now, as soon as this happens, this is whenever Deku, he's looking around the classroom trying to figure out who may get expelled, and he sees some perverted purple-haired guy with balls on his head. He just goes, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to lose. Why me? Dude, you're drooling. Ah, shit. Yeah, sorry about that sound effect. I thought it would be funny. I just woke up. Now then, I also just got coffee too. Anyways, this would happen. Everyone would go outside. Deku would be handed the ball, being told that he needs to throw it, and well, he saw during the entrance exam that he essentially saved Ibara and Ochako, and that they are essentially. He was able to make the entire thing fall over, something All Might couldn't do whenever he first started a UA. So he just needs to fight it. Well, not fight it, just throw it. Deku would immediately cock his arm back, throwing the ball, and Aizawa would have tried turning off Deku's quirk. He would have turned it off, but this would only make the ball go at least 200 to 300 meters, which kinda surprises everyone. As Deku looks over, he's saying that he doesn't understand what happened, his quirk, and he looks over to see Eraserhead is actually using his quirk. saying, oh, okay, you're a Eraserhead, that makes sense. You shouldn't, well, Eraserhead would have actually, Eraserhead, Aizawa would have erased his quirk, because he would have thought Deku would have messed up, but he didn't. He's saying that he told him to throw the ball without his quirk first. But that'll do. Now throw it with your quirk, kid. Deku would immediately cock his arm back again, throwing it as hard as he can, and this is whenever the ball, it creates a sonic boom as it leaves Deku's hand. Basically just propelling the ball so far forward that it goes through a couple clouds and into space. Now, as soon as that happens, Aizawa is actually confused, saying that he got infinite. That's weird. Now, let us cut to the 50-meter run. Deku. Deku, Todoroki, and Ida are paired up, along with Bakugo. Bakugo is actually charging with electricity, and I want to put him at about 15%, if not around 20% of full calorie. And that's because I said that he was working out with All Might at the gym, so that actually helps give it some extra muscle and extra power. So he would be at around 20%. As soon as Aizawa says go, Bakugo would have immediately jumped off with one leg actually boosting forward and actually putting his hands behind him, actually blowing himself to the finish line. Basically not touching the ground at all. Now, before he did that, Deku essentially leaped off one leg also. Basically, both these two would create a small sonic boom. Deku's bigger than Bakugo's. And Deku would have actually passed the finish line in 2.1 seconds. As Ida is still trying to get there, basically being the slowest of the three, Todoroki would also get 7 seconds, if not 10 seconds after falling over. Now, this actually confuses Ida because he's not the fastest, even though he has a quirk designed for running. Now then, Minato would be told that he's not going to be expelled, but that essentially he will be changing places with someone from Class 1B, as that is how this school system works. Because going through the paperwork to expel a kid on the first day, that gets annoying. Anyways, everyone go back to class. Now, this would happen, and this is whenever Shinsho would. That's Shinsho. I'm gonna say Monoma, because I would bring I can't say his name. I would bring the brainwashing boy in, but I essentially need to do something first. He will be in Class 1A before people in the comments say anything, but he will get his chance to shine during the festival. Now then, I essentially just need this guy here for something. Now, the heroes versus villains. Monoma is essentially talking with people. People don't know his quirk yet. And this is whenever he starts going around, talking to people, actually touching them, trying to have a good time, talking with them. And this is whenever Deku and Ibara are paired up together. They are paired up as villains, and Bakugo is paired up as a hero, along with Monoma. Monoma's talking about, and he's all cocky, saying that essentially he is one of the best students in 1A, because he may not have scored very high. Deku would say that you're in 1B, you didn't score high at all, which would piss off Monoma. Monoma would say that he didn't score very high, but still, at least he got in a Class 1A. Now, as soon as this happens, one thing I want to go over is Deku's hero costume. I just thought about it. His hero costume would be the standardized suit he wore back in Hell. Now, Basically, Deku would walk out after everyone gets done changing. People would see the scars on Deku, the wear and tear on his body, and especially the armor. Which is when Ramonimo would say, "What is that?" And people are basically telling him that from a lot of different stories and rumors circulating from different schools, that Deku essentially one day got sucked into a portal to hell. But that's only a rumor. As soon as this happens, Momo would actually run up to Deku asking him what that's made out of, if it's from hell, what's going on, what is it, and she's actually really interested in the armor. Which is when Deku would say that he's pretty sure it's just like a form of polymeristic plastic. Basically the same type of stuff you would use in industrial plastic. Just mixed differently with different materials and a lot harder. Now, as soon as that happens, Ibarra's hero costume, I need to get a picture of it, but I'm not revealing her hero costume yet because it's going to change. Now, her hero costume would be the same as in canon, which is basically that white dress. And people are talking about theirs. And this is whenever Deku, they would be on the villain's team. Bakugo and Monoma are paired up together. Monoma would actually run around Class 1A, trying to be all buddy-buddy with them, which still confuses people, as Monoma would actually walk into the building with Bakugo. He would have copied Mina's quirk. He would have tried copying Ibarra's. He would have tried copying Bakugo's, and even Kirishima's. That is 3 quirks. Now, as soon as that happened, let's begin. Deku and Ibarra are on the top floor. She's actually asking Deku what they need to do, because this is going to be a bit more challenging. This is whenever Deku would explain, not really, he just has to do one thing. Which, as soon as he says it, he just immediately goes over the stairs, and he immediately just stomps his foot, collapsing them. Now, as soon as he does this, the entire staircase would collapse, basically forcing forcing Monoma and Bakugo to take the elevators. Bakugo is actually asking Monoma what his quirk is, and Monoma would say that he can just copy quirks of anyone he touches. But for some reason, he can only copy Bakugo's explosion. Bakugo would say, "Of course you can. My other quirk stockpiles energy. I can turn that energy into power and use it." Okay, that makes more sense. Now, as soon as that happens, Bakugo would open the elevator would open, and Monoma would immediately harden his body to Kirishima's level and immediately start throwing acid and explosions at Deku. As soon as this happens, Deku's still standing there, covered in his armor, and this is whenever he would immediately just look at Monoma, asking him if he's done. Which is whenever Monoma would actually throw an explosion, point blank into Deku's face, breaking the glass on his helmet. Now then, as soon as this happened, this actually pisses Deku off quite a bit. So he's just standing there as Monoma actually goes to throw a punch at Deku with his hardened body. He would grab Monoma's fist, bending it backwards, and punching him into the face, essentially knocking a hole through the back of the elevator and sending him flying out the building. As soon as that happened, Deku actually turns to see Bakugo, asking him if he really thinks that he can fight him. In fact, I have a question. Why do you think you can still fight me, Bakugo? Even after all that time, nothing has really changed. this is going to be very annoying, as Deku starts cracking his neck and actually squaring up against Bakugo. Bakugo actually puts his hands up, and he's not wearing his standardized gauntlets. He's actually wearing smaller gauntlets, like I usually like to do in my what ifs, because it helps me with the story. Now, as soon as this happens, Deku actually goes to throw a punch at Bakugo, which Bakugo would actually meet with an actual 40% smash, actually somewhat struggling to hold back Deku's arm. Now, if you guys know how I like to do things with this, basically 20% is the maximum comfort zone, 30% is uncomfortable, 40% is essentially absolute maximum, where your muscles feel like they're gonna explode. Now, this is essentially going on, and Deku's actually pushing Bakugo backwards, as he immediately starts basically toying around with Bakugo by jumping and leaping around him, actually distracting him. At one point, Deku would actually go in for a kick, but as soon as he does so, Bakugo would actually try using the capture tape. Basically, actually trying to catch Deku, not trying to fight him, because he knows he's outclassed in speed, stamina, and durability, along with strength. That is the biggest one. Now, for those of you wondering, I don't exactly know the perfect scale, but I'm placing Deku around 25%. So the old dead ancient one Deku killed, and the prime ancient ones are essentially, Deku is essentially missing 75% of a prime ancient one's power. I don't know how it continues to All Might or corrects to All Might, but I want to say these things can destroy a city just by stomping their foot. So there's a scale there somewhere. We're almost probably 1% of that. If not, probably 10%. I don't exactly know. That is hard. Power scaling is not easy. Now, essentially, this is whenever Deku, he would actually just get annoyed, socking Bakugo in the chest, actually knocking him down to the ground. He would then actually put his foot on Bakugo's back, telling him that he lost, and he was not planning on winning in the first place. Now, Ibarra would actually step out from the shadows, actually digging vines in the ground, actually restraining Bakugo. These vines are actually covering Bakugo, and he can't move his arms, he can't really do anything. He keeps trying to throw explosions, but there's vines underground that just keep regrowing, which is when All Might would declare them the winners. Now, this is whenever someone would go check on Monoma, probably, and people are actually kind of interested by his quirk, along with Deku's. Now, that is where I'm going to be leaving this part off, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I will catch you guys later.